Hey, hello champions, welcome to this session. And in this session, what we are going to do is, in the previous video, we created a quick setup. Here in this session, we are going to actually experience the lab on NFS system. So let's quickly get into our console. Quickly sharing my screen. So you can see you have created EFS, elastic file system. And we are also logged on to two different machines. This is the first machine and this is the second machine. So we are trying to create this kind of setup here. So two EC2 instances are ready under security group WebSG, and one NFS file system is ready under the default security group. Now here, since web security group or instances from web security group are going to connect to the NFS, we have to allow the inbound port of NFS in default security group for WebSG. Okay, so let's get into the default security group of you can say our NFS. So quickly, I'll go back to the NFS, and you can see this is created under default security group. So I'll go into security groups. Okay, and under security groups, I want to go under my default security group. You can see this is a default security group ending with number 2017. And if I quickly go back and check here, you can see this is the same security group ending with 2017. So I go into this. Sorry, let's go into this one. I'll go into inbound rules. Okay, and okay, right now HTTP, this is not necessary. It's already there, this setting. What we need is, so I need to allow, so my instances, let's go back to this block diagram. So my instances are in web set security group, and my instances would connect to the NFS mount point, which is in default security group, right? The default security group is the destination. Here, I will have to allow NFS port. So I'm into my default security group. You'll see this default security group 2017. Here, I'll select NFS, okay, and which is port 2049. And here, I will select the security group. Now, here you can select a security group, which is WebSG. Why? Because here, what I'm saying is any machine from WebSG, Web Security Group, is coming uh, and asking for a connection, NFS connection, please allow it. That's what I'm telling. Okay. Because my instances are part of this source, which is web security group. Okay. And destination security group is where my NFS mount point is. Okay. So I say this save rules. By the way, if you don't do this, you'll not be able to connect to the NFS. Okay. So you might want to remove the settings and try that, whatever we'll be doing here onwards. So let's get into action right now. So I'll go back to EFS file system and we'll have to mount this point. So what I'll do is I'll quickly say attach, and it will show me the command. So if you want to mount this file system, you have to run this command. But before I run this command, there's one more thing that we'll have to do. So I'll quickly log on to one instances. So I'm logged over one of the instances here. You can see, okay, so I'm into this instance in the /root partition. What you can do is, and let me show you, if you run the command df-h, which shows you the file space, let me clear this. Now, if I run this command, so you can see there are various mount points here. Okay. But right now, we want to mount this file system, which is not here. Okay. So let's create a folder. The first thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to create a folder. So what we can do is, okay, so first thing, we'll create a folder here. Let's create a folder and we call it as EFS. Let's, so let's make a directory. Okay, so you copy this command. Okay, by the way, you will see all the commands in the comment section. So please make sure you are running the commands as desired. So if I quickly show you, okay, before I run this command, if I say ll, there is no directory here. Okay, and now if I copy and paste the same command, that's make directory EFS, and I do ll, you can see there's a directory called EFS. Okay, then before I run this command, let me copy this command. Okay, before I run this command, we'll have to install EFS file system. Because if I don't install that, it will throw an error. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I quickly copy this command, I'll copy this here. The best thing is you will have to copy paste the way it is. Okay, so Amazon is directly giving you the command. Ideally, you need to install this package. so that it recognizes EFS file system. But if you do not run this, you see you will throw an error. Okay. So I copy this command, and once you run this, it says unknown file system type EFS. It means it does not understand what is this EFS file system. So to make it understand, we'll have to install this package. Okay. So I run this package yum install Amazon EFS utils. I run this, and it says it's asked for permission. You say yes, enter. Okay, and then now let me clear the screen. And now using up arrow key, if I run the same command of mount file system, okay, this is your file system name and EFS. If you run enter, and if it's sticking while, that's okay. Okay, for the first time. And now you can see it ran successfully. So if now I run df-h command, you can see there is this file system /root EFS. Okay, it is mounted. Earlier, this partition or this file system wasn't there. Now you can see this is there. This is there. Now, let me go into this. So you can see if I do ll, you can see this folder. So if I say cd, that is change directory to EFS. Okay, pwd, that is present working directory. I'm into EFS. Now let's create a file here. So I say touch a. When I say touch a, there is a file a. If I press ll, you can see a file a. Let's do vi edit file a. Okay, I go into insert mode, pressing I. Then I type something, some text. This is EFS demo, and it's successful. Okay, I just type this and come out of this, press escape, colon, WQ, exclamation, enter. So I just put some content into file A. If you want to see the content, just cat space file A, and you can see shows the text. This is EFS demo and it's successful. So this is one of the instances. Now let me try to mount the same file system on another machine. So remember we had created two instances, and over one of the system we are already logged in. Okay. In fact, we are logged in over both the systems, but over one of the system we have already mounted the partition root EFS on, okay, and on other we haven't mounted. So if I show you the output of df-h, you can see there is no file system with EFS. So again, here what I do is, again we'll install, by the way, we'll also need a directory here. So again, I'll run make directory EFS. Then you can create this directory anyway. Right now I'm into root volume. I'll create again in root volume. Then I run this command sudo yum install EFS util. So you can implement this way, or the other way is, you can remember, if you go back to Elastic File System, earlier we mounted the file system using this command. Now let's use the second command using NFS client. So I believe this is already installed. So let me run this command on my second instance. So if I copy paste the command the way it is, and I press enter, then you say it's mounted. So the command ran, and let me show you the output of df-h once again. So you can see right now, you see a file system here with root EFS, and it is showing you the same DNS name. Okay, this one, Amazon AWS. While here it was missing earlier. So it came after we ran this mount point. Now, if you again do ll, so you can see a directory EFS. If you go into this directory, now if you do ll, then you see on the second instance, this instance, I just mounted the file system right away right now, but I can still see the same file. And if I do cat space A, you can see the same content I created from the first machine. So let me show you both the things again. So you can see there are two machines, two instances, different instances on my screen. One is ending with private IP 31.22.2, and the other is 31.3. Here, both the file system are mounted. You can see we can collaborate. There are, imagine, 100 of people working on in the same file system. So right now you can see I'm in the same file system EFS right now. If I do pwd, and let's say if someone creates mkdir, a folder with test inside this file system, and if I do ll, you can see there is a file and there is a folder with the name test. So this is my machine one, you can say. On the second machine, since the same partition is mounted, Now, if I do LL, you see I'm into PWD, I'm get into my file system. And if I do LL, you see I see the same folder that I created from machine one. So this is where, the file system which is mounted on different machines, different people can collaborate together. And while you are doing this working on the same folder, whatever changes that you create in that same folder on that file system, other people will be able to see. So this is how many people can concurrently work on that. So if I go up here on the second machine, let's go back to the directory test that we just created. And here in the directory test, by the way, on first machine, let me show you. If I do ll in test directory, there is nothing that exists. So I go back on again on second machine and I'm into my test folder. You can see root EFS test. And here again, if I create a file with the command touch uh, XYZ, so the file name is XYZ. I do LL, you can see XYZ file here. And here again, LL. If I want to see the folder or file under test, you can see it is XYZ created. So that is the power of EFS. You can connect from anywhere. Now, the last thing that I will show you is how to unmount this mount point. So if I run df-h, you can see this mount point is still there. Okay. Now, one of the things that you can see the changes is if you mount the partition using the first command, here you will see 127 IP mounted and the file system you can see /root EFS. If you mount the file system EFS using the second command, and let me show you the change df-h, here it will show you the DNS name. Okay. And this is the same DNS name. The same DNS name that you can see here. Okay. Or if you go back to the file system, this is the same DNS name that you can see here, FS0D ending with 28F5, ending with 28F5. Okay. So that's one of the things. The other thing that I wanted to quickly show you is you can mount via DNS or you can also mount via IP. So you can see if I click mount via IP, this DNS name would be changed to IP. And again, this IP is different in different AC. So the moment you say US East 1A, IP is 172, 31, 32, 249. The moment when you select 1B, the IP gets changed. So please make sure whenever you are mounting it, you mount it with the right IP in the right AZ. Okay. So that's another thing that I wanted to show you. And now to end this video, let me show you how to unmount this partition. So I'll remove this. Okay. So the idea is you'll type command umount -l and partition name. So let's unmount this on this. So I'll copy this command, okay, and I'll paste this umount space -l, and then I'll split this partition, that is /root/EFS, and let's type df-h. You can see this partition is unmounted. We no more see this partition, okay? So I want you to type the same command on the other machine, okay? So you can see there's a partition /root/EFS that you can see here, but if you unmount, it might take a little time, okay, few seconds. And it is done. So you can see a while back you are able to see the partition. Now you no more see the partition, and the partition is gone. So that is what I wanted to quickly show you. So that is the way to unmount the partition, and that is what we had in this lab. In the next lab, I'll quickly show you how to destroy this entire setup. I look forward to see you in the next session. Cheers. Bye bye.